Come and dream with me.
Hello, welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier meeting podcast. Every week we get together and talk about movies, TV, and online content and help you answer the question, isn't it crazy that a movie that's out in 1 year's time has already made like $1.5 million? Yes. I'm your host, Ashley Lee. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
They've released numbers for that.
They've given estimates based on, I guess, how many screenings and stings they're, I guess, guesstimating. And already you're seeing people reselling tickets for upwards of to $300 to $400.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah. How much would you sell your ticket for?
I'm not going to sell it because I'm a true movie.
$500?
No.
$600?
No.
$1,000?
Probably.
There's always a number. So, and you got to think, you can always go. You can always, you can probably see it later. Maybe
I feel like I would sell it for that amount, and I would feel terrible doing it.
You would sell it before you get your tickets to Melbourne. Once those tickets are bought, then it's kind of locked in. You can't, unless what they're paying is more than worth the cost of tickets. Plane tickets.
The ticket was $50. So I mean,
yeah.
So as soon as I mean, 500 is still, yeah.
500 would still cover the plane tickets from Tasmania, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're unaware about what we're talking about, for context, The Odyssey has been has had a pre-sale for the first run of IMAX screenings next year when it releases July 26th, I think.
Yeah, about something like that.
Nope, 17th. It was 1 week off. Yeah, and they've sold out everywhere, effectively. I think there were only a few days of screenings that they put together to start off with for IMAXs all over the world, including here in Australia and Melbourne. So yeah, if you missed out, tough luck. You know, my question is, how many people are going to forget that they bought tickets? You know, because I've never had the cinema remind me I bought tickets. You know,
I feel like you wouldn't forget something like that, right? Though, but especially like it'll get to what maybe April, something, and then you'll start seeing more like it's coming soon. And you're like, oh yeah, I've got tickets for that.
Yeah, and
I would presume most people that brought tickets to the IMAX in Melbourne fucking live there, like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most.
Yeah.
So, all right, on today's show, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over a lot of film and TV news, giving you this week's top 3, and giving you some thumbs for trailers. Kicking things off, Dylan, you went to see the big release of the week, the reboot/legacy sequel. I don't know what you did last summer. How did it live up to the first 2 films in the franchise?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I've been seeing it's getting some mixed reviews. Put a review up on the website. I think I gave it an 8. I think that was around what I gave it. But yeah, so the setup for this one is it is a legacy sequel, so that means it is like attempting to reboot the franchise while building upon what come before it. It goes about it interesting ways. It's sort of hard to discuss about spoilers, of course, because there's it's a mystery. Who is the killer? What's the go here? Because the original 2 movies both feature the same killer, and that killer is killed off at the end of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And this isn't a supernatural franchise, unless we count that third terrible film that I said never to watch. But this isn't a supernatural franchise. So there was the cast of the first 2 films were being chased by someone basically out of revenge. So what's the story here? We get introduced to a whole cast of new characters in this one. They are led by Chase Sue Wonders, who most people would probably currently know from in Studio. Thank you. Yeah, the Studio on Apple TV, where she plays one of the producers. I think.
Yeah, she played one of the producers.
Yeah, producers. Yeah, so that's so she's returning home to what's the I can't remember what the city's called. Little boat town, whatever. Anyway, she's returning home. Her friend's getting married. Of course, we get the whole like typical setup where it's like she's returning for her best friend. Best friend's marrying this other guy. They went to school together. That guy's best friend is like a high school crush. Whatever. We get quickly introduced to all these characters. They head out there drinking. They pull over to the side of the road. So straight away, I was like, "Oh, we're not going for the typical thing of like they hit someone." Like, I wonder what the. But then one of the bride to be, her partner, starts fucking around in the middle of the road, like oh, so like oh, no one will hit me, blah blah. Anyway, car comes out of nowhere, swerves because it doesn't want to hit him, and then like goes flying overboard. So, and then they do the same thing as they did in the first film, which is like, oh my god, we can't tell anyone that we were fucking around in the middle of the road, blah blah blah. We're gonna keep this a secret. Jump forward a year later, the bride to be and the boyfriend have now split up because I guess the events of this cause of friction. She's now already engaged to someone else, so the Chase Sue Wonder's character is returning again for another engagement party a year later, and then during that character played by Madeline Klein, who is really probably one of my favorite parts of this movie, and I didn't expect it, to be completely honest. But she gets a letter that says, "I know what you did last summer," and from there, people start dying, and in bloody fashion. They then, as seen in the trailer, they reach out to the two surviving people from the last time someone in a fisherman's costume and everything was running around killing people, which is Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character Ray and then Jennifer Love Hewitt's character Julie, who we quickly learn are no longer together. They split up and live apart. So, but they reach out to them for tips on what's to happen. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think my favorite stuff is sort of hard to touch on without going into spoilers. But I thought the movie it didn't delve into super predictable territory. It actually did something quite interesting with who the killer was. There was a story there that, like, I mean, honestly, the killer in the first two films is a dude who had literally just killed someone. He's a bad dude. They accidentally hit him. He survives even though they dumped his body in the water. And then he comes for revenge against this group because they nearly killed him. Even though it's like, you're the fucking murderer anyway, dude. Like, so it's the backstory to this franchise isn't super exciting. And what they managed to do with the killer in this one is honestly a lot more intriguing than the original two films. I would say that the cast they attempt to do make them somewhat like they're costumed and fit similar sorts of roles to the cast of the first one, but they I don't think they're stereotypical. Like I watched watching the trailer, the Madeline Klein character, like I went into it assuming honestly based on the trailer that she was just going to be sort of the ditzy blonde and play into that type, which she does, especially to begin with, but she becomes so much more. She's actually a lot more than that as the film plays out, and she has some of the best moments throughout the whole film, to be completely honest. So I do think so. Obviously, like any of these sorts of films, some of the characters get shoved to the wayside a bit more than others. Like the original boyfriend who she breaks up with, like he doesn't really get to grow much more than shitty angry dude, but he's sort of playing the same character, I guess. That would have been I'm struggling with everyone's names tonight. What's the original? Who was I complaining about the other week saying he fucking know what you did?
Have to narrow it down.
Yeah, I know, right? Please hold. Google. Blah, 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 blah. Ryan Phillippe, sorry. Yeah, so he's playing the Ryan Phillippe character, but I mean, he's not strangling his girlfriend in this movie and like doing all sorts of stuff that feels weird. He's just turns into a bit of an alcoholic, but it's funny as well. There's a lot of jokes in it I thought were kind of a lot of fun, and then it also, without going into like gore horror movie territory, it's a lot bloodier than the first two. Like the first two are bare like PG. They're very tame. There's barely any blood in those movies at all. This one steps it up a bit more, but not in the way that feels outside the norm. Like this is no more gory than any of the recent Scream movies, but it at least steps up the blood level to make it more entertaining and more in line with what you would expect out of a slasher. But surprisingly, there is and depending on how well it does at the box office, I guess. So there is a after credit scene, which probed me to, like, as soon as I get home, put up an article on the website that was like, "Is it an after credit scene?" Because I wasn't expecting one, but I sat there. Anyway, just vibing out to the music that was playing in the credits as happening, and then they did a mid credit scene and sets up a potential sequel. So I was like, okay, sure, we'll see how that plays out at the box office. But yeah, I actually think, and this might be the hottest take, I actually think this is the best of all three, because the first two, they're fine, they're very forgettable though, and having just rewatched them, there's this, I enjoyed watching them when I was in, I watched them the first time I was in high school or whatever. But they're mostly just love for their cast on the movies and everything like this. I don't think the cast in this one's as strong, but I do think that the rest of the movie makes up for that, to be honest. So I actually think this is the best one in the franchise.
Bold.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Probably. All right. I checked out the first 2 episodes of a new British crime series that's on HBO Max. It's called HBO Max now, Dylan.
Yeah. The apps. One of my apps updated at least. Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't checked all of them, but
yes. It's called Bookish. Created and starring Mark Gatiss, who people would probably know.
That's Sherlock's brother.
Yeah, he played Mycroft Holmes in Sherlock and co-created that show with Stephen Moffat.
He's been in a lot of the Fantastic Four trials at the moment, where he's doing an
he's
like Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he's the host dude.
That guy.
He's the Ed Sullivan type fill-in.
Yeah.
So it's a very well. It's hard not to draw comparisons because it is a crime kind of show. He plays It's set 1946, I think, like not long after World War II, in England. He plays a bookstore owner. His name's Book, and he owns books. But he also has some sort of investigative past, which he ends up helping the local police with certain investigations or happenings around the town. Apparently he has a letter from Winston Churchill that allows him to, help where it's wanted. The main inspector is very keen on getting his insights and that kind of stuff. One of his constables, not so much. But we're introduced into this dynamic with a character called Jack, who is he's looking for a job after just getting out of prison, and he gets a job at Books, helping Book run the bookshop because his hobby of solving murders is take Books.
Yeah.
Book at Books is unable to look after Books because he wants to go do his hobby, solving murders. Also, Book's got a wife who he calls Mrs. Book all the time.
Does she read books?
No, she works next door and has a wall.
She has a DVD store.
A wallpaper company. Books. Only used books, not new books. Old books. And he's got a whole unique system in the way he organizes them that makes no sense to anybody except Book. So if you want to find a book inside Books, you need to talk to Book to get your book. No new books, old books.
Yep.
Yes. So it's pretty much kind of like Sherlock, I guess. He uses all his reading knowledge and that kind of stuff to kind of help with his investigations and like kind of putting the piece together. Each episode is 50 minutes, but like from what I can tell, like 6 episode first season, they're 2-parters. So kind of like a hour and a half long Sherlock episode. You know what I mean?
Kind of like a book that's part 1 and part 2.
Sure. I don't know how many books purposely have a part 1 and part 2. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a bit of a slow burn. At least the first bit of mystery is like very. it was a little bit surprising who was behind everything, and like I didn't pick it up like early on. Yeah, I'm very keen. I've, like I said, only watched the first two episodes for the first kind of case. You kind of get little tastes of each of the characters, so I'm keen to like learn a little bit more about Book and his past and that kind of stuff, and like why he is the way he is. He's also his marriage to Mrs. Book is kind of odd, and there's like their relationship is not entirely clear. It's like, you know, how he expresses his feelings and that kind of thing. There's also information about Jack's past, and there seems to be somebody who's like why did Jack end up here at working for Book and that kind of stuff. They're kind of teasing as to potentially something to explore down the line. Yeah, I think it's a fun British crime show. You know, interesting characters, enough humor to keep things interesting and that kind of stuff. So I'm keen to check out the remaining 4 episodes. So I'd recommend checking that out on HBO Max. All the episodes are out now, I believe. So cool. Dylan, you checked out one of the horror movies that released earlier this year, Drop.
Yeah. So this one is from what's his name, Christopher Landon, the director of
Happy
Death Day and Happy Death Day 2
and Almost Scream, whatever,
and Happy Eyes. No, he just wrote that. Sorry, yeah, that was directed by what's his face. He wrote that there. Yeah,
no worries, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so the I was trying to think of the actress name. I can't remember her name. Megan
Faye.
Yeah, Megan Faye. She plays this woman who, she's been off the dating market for some time. Because of a violent past with her ex, which you sort of see teased at the start of the movie and comes back into relevance. Her sister sort of forced her to go meet up with this person she's been chatting with on a made-up dating app, because I guess they didn't want to pay any of the, the big ones to be involved in said film. But she heads out for this date. They go to the fanciest first date place I think I've ever seen, which is this massive like bar at the top of this tower or whatever, very fancy place. And then she meets up with this guy called Henry. I can't remember who's. For some reason I remember his name, but I can't remember the actor's name. But he's like a photographer, and they're like sitting there chilling for a bit, and then she starts getting these it's some app in the that they again, a made up app that she has on her phone, but it's basically like she's getting airdropped or requested airdrop of pictures, and at first they're like me watching you and like sort of weird memes, and then that quickly turns into there's a dude in a house and she checks their security cameras, and he's like there with a mask on, and then this dude's saying that she needs to do certain things or else her son and sister will die, and she can't let her date know what's happening. And yeah, it basically turns into a mystery thriller from that point, as she attempts to find out who the dude is, because presumably it's someone within the bar or within the restaurant that they're having dinner at, because they have to be within a certain distance to airdrop or pseudo airdrop these things to her, and then work out why her, why him, what's going on. Let me save my son, but also this person's asking her to do things like put poison in people, and then like what's going on here. So mystery thriller. I thought it was okay. I think that it's elevated by the performance of Megan, who's really good in this and brings a lot more to the material than some other actress potentially could have done. So more props to her for that. I definitely do feel like the film just jumps the shark several times. You very much have to sit your any doubt of believability to the side before you sit down to watch this one, because there are so many times where just like your brain will just go, well, why didn't she do, or why didn't this person, like, just ignore all, especially the last 20 minutes, I guess, we lead up to the finale. It's just like, okay, like there's just so much stuff happening that you're like, I guess this is, yeah, whatever, just you're along for the ride at that point. But yeah, it was a entertaining thriller to watch the early in the afternoon. So, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm going to be thinking too much about it come the end of the year.
All right. Then you also watched the Shudder film that we talked about the trailer of, Push.
Yeah, this one I guess is a thriller with a different vibe, but I found to be a lot more better job at doing the thrill ride. This is a slow burn, so I'll give it that. Like if you don't like slow burns, this is definitely not going to be for you. But the setup for this one is this woman, pregnant woman, which becomes important. She is doing this open home, apparently for this unsellable house, and it may or may not be because there's a mystery to people having been murdered in it before. This dude, no one turns up for the open home. Her husband had recently passed away as well, so she's you sort of get to understand that she's feeling rather lonely and alone in the world currently. But this one dude randomly shows up, walks to the house, disappears. She's like, he was a bit fucking weird. Anyway, I'm going to leave. Goes to get into the car. Of course, car won't start. Calls for help. Blah. Anyway, you start seeing, but you see him before she sees him. And I think that the movie does a very good job at you'll hear these weird noises, and she'll go to investigate, and then in the background you'll just see the shadow of someone working there. Of course, like this dude just starts fucking with her for a while before eventually trying to murder her. But yeah, it's a very slow burn, especially for that first half an hour, because it is a lot of just tense camera just following her around the house as noises and things, and she's trying to investigate things and piece together what's happening in this house. And of course, it's raining, thundering outside, just to add to that atmosphere even more. I'd say the only thing I didn't really love about this one is it does sort of have two endings. It does and even at barely 90 minutes, it sort of struggles to keep up pace for that. I think this would have been a lot better at say 70 minutes, to be honest, or just cut. I would have nearly cut out the last 15 minutes, I think, of this, and just really tightened up the last act of the movie and had it end at where I thought it was ending the first time before it goes, no, we're going again. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. I think the lead, the two leads, I guess, but the main girl, she's very, very good, especially when she has to, her water breaks early in the film after her first big jump scare and realizes that there's a dude potentially trying to kill her in this home. Her water breaks, and then she's now playing a woman in labor attempting to escape a killer. The guy playing the killer, the mysterious guy, is quite good as well. But she was very good to she's forefront for the entire film. So yeah, that was good.
All right. Continuing on your horror.
It's just my life. What are you talking about?
Horror. What's the word?
Yeah, Train.
Trial Horror Train. Yes, you watched a film
sure.
called Dead Male.
Yeah. There's another Shadow one that came out early in the year. I hadn't got a chance to watch it. Very intriguing, very interesting film. From its just utter commitment to its interesting yet simple setup, which is it starts with a. It's so tonally offbeat, and I don't really know how to describe it, without, you'd have to watch it. It just feels so. Sometimes you watch a movie and the characters and the world and the way it's filmed, it just feels like it's living within its own weird little universe. That's what this sort of feels like, but not in a fantastical way. It's like everything looks like our world, but it feels off, like it's slightly out of sync. But the movie starts with these people. They are in this mail compartment, and they sort through, and then these two women are discussing addresses on letters that have been wrote on there incorrectly, and they're fixing mistakes, and then they find this crumpled up piece of paper with some blood on it and stuff like that, and it has a note, and they think it's just some prank or whatever, but then they take it to this dude, and there's this specialized dude that works at the mail place whose whole job is literally to figure out the track dead mail and where it cut the find out where it came from or where it needs to go. He's a hardcore investigator, this dude. And I don't know without weird spoilers, because I would say this one's worth watching. But he ends up tracing it back a little bit, and then we do a little bit of a rewind, and it all links in oddly to this dude who is obsessed with a keyboard, like a synthesizer keyboard technician who loves what this guy's doing and tries to partner up with him. And then when the dude and ends up kidnapping him, and that's where the letters all come from. I don't really say it's not really too much of a horror movie as it is just like an odd little thriller. But I think because of how committed the actors are to making this offbeat material work, and it's also filmed with this like 80s VHS style to it all. It just, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I thought this was just, yeah, very unique. So
awesome. All right. Then you also watched, I'm guessing, another Shudder movie.
Yeah.
825 Forest Road.
Yeah, this is from the director that does the Hell House LLC films. So took a break from those to do this one. Not found footage or handycam like those ones usually are. This is just a normal, quote unquote, normal film, which is, I guess, maybe he's testing around because apparently the next Hell House film is going to break the formula and not be a found footage handycam one. So, yeah, I mean, the setup to this one is that these people move. They buy the house. It's this guy, his partner, and then his sister, because their mother recently died in a car crash. So he's this dude who's like the older brothers now. Agreed to look after his sister. So they've all moved together, moved into this new home, and quickly after moving there, a bunch of people in the neighborhood start being like talking very secretive about there's some dark secret within the town, and he gets invited to these meetings and stuff where they like sort of openly in some areas discuss how the place is haunted by this woman from aeons before who her daughter was bullied or something like that, and now she haunts the place. So it's unlike, I guess, other movies like this where people because people move into house and house is haunted is such a sort of done to death sort of setup for a horror thing. The one thing that is different about this is the fact that, unlike in those other things where usually it's just people continuously doubting what's happening to them and what's going on, from the outset of this one, it is very quickly like people are like, yeah, that's just a thing. Like this place is haunted. You shouldn't have moved here. This is a terrible decision. Why did you do that? But yeah, they sort of tricked by the family one. It has, I would say that it has a lot of interesting ideas, and I didn't mind the setup and setting for it, but I don't think, especially at nearly an hour 45, I think it was, I don't think it sustains itself, especially because it rewinds several times. Like it plays through a lot of the story of one character, rewinds, plays through so we'll play through like with the the sister first, rewinds, play through with the brother, rewind, play through with the brother's partner, rewind. So we're sort of doing the same thing over and over. And I think by the time we finally get to the third act and see how the film came to fruition, I'm sort of sick of seeing certain events play out over different characters at this point. I don't know why that was a storytelling choice that was made for this particular film, because I don't think it worked at all. I will say the creepiest scene in the movie is one that involves a doll, which carries through from, of course, all the freaking clowns that that the director uses in the Hell House movies. But there's a scene where like the husband's partner, she does like clothes designing or something like that, and she does like vlogs about it to her audience and fans that buy that stuff, and she's like recording once, and one of her mannequins in the background is like moving in the background. You see it's like hands start like gripping stuff and whatever else. Then everyone keeps trying to call her, I guess, to tell her the fucking mannequins are moving in the background, but she's like, no, everyone should know I'm live now, stop trying to call me. And then of course she disappears out of the room for a second, and the entire thing's moved. So yeah, simple but effective. But yeah, overall I would say, yeah, a bit rough on this one. Didn't hit all the marks.
All right. Then you finish watching Mobland, the Paramount Plus series.
Yep, which they've already greenlit for the the next season,
season,
which is good. Yeah, I mean, this series, I think with this series was surprisingly good. I really wasn't sure if it would be like what it would be. I guess I remember we watched the trailer for it and
mm-hmm.
was sort of like, how's this going to turn out? And even when I started watching it, just the somewhat over the top accents being delivered by Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan was sort of like, what are we doing here? But after several episodes, it was sort of just like, I'm into it now. And by the end of the season, I think they'd done such a good job at setting up the world within that these characters live in that I'm very keen to see where the story goes next, because I don't want to spoil it in case anyone still will watch it, but by the end of the season, we've sort of left a lot of the Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren family characters in different areas. We've introduced a new character that could come in the last couple episodes that is gunning for their territory, their gang family territory. Tom Hardy's character's proven to be loyal to the family, sort of to a fault where you feel bad for him because like this is definitely a comeback to kick ass. Paddy Considine's character has taken a huge step to overcome something that was haunting him from when he was younger, and that's in the penultimate episode where he gets a really good monologue, which was really good because he's a great actor that quite often gets pushed into supporting roles, I guess. I'm very keen to see where the show goes through. It was very strong first season, I think, that has its ups and downs for episodes, but I think now that's all out, if you binged it, it would probably be easy to get through the episodes that you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, where's it? You know, like you sort of get to the next week already.
All right, Dylan, you can take a seat. You can put your feet up because I'm going to talk about some anime.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, I know. So I've started watching the new anime Gachiakuta. Gachiakuta. I don't know how they say it. I don't think they actually say it in the show. It's a difficult name to say. Set in this really weird, worlds, like kind of, I guess, post-apocalyptic, I guess, to an extent. World, we're following a younger boy named Rudy who lives in the slums of like this wealthy society, who are called the tribesfolk, who kind of like all the rich and wealthy people like just kind of discard stuff all the time. Like an example at the start of the episode is like this little kid like has a slight tear in a toy rabbit. They just chuck the whole thing out to buy a whole new toy rabbit. But Rudy's like a dumpster diver, and he goes and collects things that are fixable and repairs them, so they can sell them for money and that kind of stuff. But before he was born, apparently his father was accused of committing murder or whatever. And what they do in this world is when you're found guilty of a crime, you get chucked off the edge of the world into the pit. So cut to now, his adopted father, Rego, is murdered. And he just happens to come across the crime scene before the police show up. The police see him there and they just pretty much accuse him of being the murderer behind it all. And they chuck him off the edge into the pit. But it doesn't turn out to be like a certain death thing. He just lands on this like garbage-filled, terrible world landscape with these giant garbage creatures that are like chasing him and that kind of stuff. It smells terrible and all this kind of stuff. But it turns out he has some sort of special powers that only certain people have. So he's able to control secret weapons and that kind of stuff to like take people out and that kind of thing. He meets another person who is familiar with his abilities and wants to help him hone them and that kind of stuff. And his whole goal, Rudo's whole goal is he wants to go back to what the people down in the pit call the sphere, where the tribesfolk are. He wants to go back there, find the person who murdered his family, or murdered his adopted father, and just also get revenge on everybody who kind of discarded him into the pit. So that's the basic premise of the show. Only 2 episodes, and that's only just covered in the 2 episodes. So I mean, it's a little bit of a slow burn. I'm enjoying it so far. I think the distinctive thing is this has got this really cool art style, very punk rock graffiti esque. At times, like sometimes we'll just go black and white and that kind of stuff. So it really stands out. Very violent from the little bit that we see of him letting loose with these powers and that kind of stuff. Very kind of get dark and grimy and that kind of stuff, and very interesting world that I haven't really seen in an anime or anything before. So, yeah, really interesting. Keen to check it out. I think episodes drop like every Sunday-ish on Crunchyroll. So, checking that out. I know it's probably a dumb question, Dylan, but you haven't been watching any anime lately, have you?
I only watch cartoons.
Okay. Like?
All new DC cast.
You certainly have not tracked solo leveling against Kaiju No. 8, you piece of shit. For ruin my segues.
I remember last time you tried to do the bit. I completely ruined it for you as well. So, yeah, what do you want to talk about? Solo leveling, Kaiju No. 8. Yep.
Yeah.
So I watched I talked about on here watching that solo leveling movie, which was sort of a recap movie that covered the first season. Of course, I missed some beats, but that's just the way those movies roll. But they fucking, I'll tell you what, those recap movies must be popular. There's no way they don't just keep doing them. Like every big,
I think they make a lot of money, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the way that we're going forward.
It's just they must. It's just they get to repurpose what they've already done and make more money. Like it's sort of smart, I guess. So I watched that, and you know what, it worked because it got me into the series. So I watched that, and then obviously the end of that movie had the first 3 episodes of season 2. So I've just picked up watching season 2 from there, and I very much enjoyed it. Solo leveling is very good. I may one day go back and watch probably the first season. I don't know, but I mean I understood the gist of the story from the movie, missing some story beats, but nonetheless. Have you finished that season? You finished?
Yes, I finished season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the second season, you get to see what's the character's there? I'm a fake fan, so
no, it's not coming to me.
Shut up, no, whatever. Anyway, the main dude, Shun. Oh, no, it starts with S, I swear.
No, that's
Jinwoo.
That's it.
Thank you. Jinwoo, in the second season, we get to finally see him achieve many things that were set out within the first season, which is, I don't know how much spoilers you want to go, but like, I guess the whole reason he set out to start grinding and what was driving him for the whole mission. He gets to sort of see that through to fruition, which is good, and you also get to see him actually get his rank reevaluated in this season as well. But then it all builds up to this, I guess, nearly retiring, and then at the end of the season you have this massive. I mean, they start killing characters left, right, and center. I mean, to be honest, so there's a lot of people dying, and he gets to be the badass that sort of comes in to save the day and set it up for the third season, because it's still we're now about to go into warfare with Japan and where's this actually set now? I can't remember. It's not actually set in Japan. Korea, yeah. So now next season will be Korea versus Japan. I think is basically the direction we're heading. I don't know. Isn't that not what you got? Like,
no, I admit I've read ahead. So,
okay, right,
yeah,
some way off base.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. Maybe they'll go a different direction.
Tell me, based on the anime, that's not what it seems like they're setting up though.
No, I mean maybe it got that implication, but in the comics, Japan comes out looking much worse. But because this is a Japanese animated series, they make them not look as bad.
Yeah, because I mean, in the last couple of episodes, they have a dude like leading the Japanese what do they call them? Hunters? Whatever. No.
Yeah.
Hunters. And it's like, yeah, you watching it,
His
like,
plan,
they're
falls
bad.
apart, but I don't
Yeah.
think they're suddenly going to go fight Korea because their plan fell through. You know what I mean?
Anyway, very much enjoy it. Again, to this whole point, where was it last week where you said about the live action movie?
Yes.
I just cannot picture,
No.
especially when you picture the last act of this season. It's fucking people doing triple
Crazy
flip
shit.
backflips off shit like that. It's the shit that only works in anime, right? In the fights and the fight scenes in this insane next level. What the fuck is going on? He's summoning thousands of bloody whatever's to fight alongside him, and then there's a million bees or whatever the hell going on. Like, how do you do that in live action? You can't. Just let it be. You know, let's move on.
No, not well.
Not well. Yeah, and what's the point? If you're not doing it well, what's the fucking point? You know, just stop at that stage.
Yeah.
Kaiju and then Kaiju number 8. Have you watched this?
Yes.
Okay. Second season started today. I'm watching it. I saw that pop up. Kaiju number 8. I binged this as well last week when I was sick, but very much enjoyed this as well. It sort of ticks. I think it's like, do you like Godzilla and Kaiju monsters? We got that. Do you like do you like the I don't know what you call it, like the sort of superstardom behind a group in like My Hero Academia or some shit like that, where it's like the group are viewed as superstars. And then do you want to watch a bunch of people like sort of flinging themselves across buildings and stuff like an Attack on Titan? Here's this. That's what it felt like to me. It's like, let's just combine 3 different elements of that. But Kaiju number 8 is, I guess for people who don't know what the fuck it's about, it is about it's set in a world where kaiju monsters will pop up out of nowhere and attack, and they have been for, I don't know, a while, like 30 years or some shit. I don't know. But there's a whole group called the Anti-Kaiju Defense Force, and they are called in to attack and save the day. And because of that, they're sort of viewed as the modern day heroes, because they're the people defending against the evil kaiju monsters and stuff. We're introduced to our lead character, Kafka. It's either Kafka or Kafka. Kafka. He is working as part of a cleanup crew that gets called in to deal with the absolute disgusting mess that's left over by giant kaiju monsters after they're killed, and has to sort of cut them down and save them. He's good at his job. But what he always wanted to be was part of the defense force. And as this show has, in a disgusting scene that I posted on my Instagram story, where another character calls him old for being 32, which was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It just cut me through my core. Like, this is your fine. They've upped the age so you can apply over 30 up to the age 33 or something now. So now's your last year to apply for the defense force, Kafka, because you're an old man. And every character calls him old man in this, and I'm like, I'm dead on the inside currently watching this, but nonetheless. So he's going to join up, but before he can properly join up and do all that, he basically gets attacked one night. I don't know if attacked is the right word, but I don't know. Something floats into a fucking hospital room when he's laying there and basically turns him into a kaiju. And I'm sure that will be explained in the future at some point. But yeah, so he now can turn into a kaiju, and then basically the entire season, the first season, is that he gets into the Defense Force just basically based on his commitment to always wanting to do best for his team, and his smarts about because he knows a lot about kaiju and their like where to find their weak points and stuff. Yeah, based on his time as a cleanup guy. So, but he's terrible at everything else. Like, he's not fit. He's not this. He's not, these sorts of things. But yeah, so he's trying to keep this secret that he's can turn into a kaiju and he's half kaiju, because of course then he would probably be killed. So it's this back and forth. He has one friend that knows. I can't remember that character's name, but he's one mate who tries to look after him. And then he has this weird relationship with this girl who also finds out. But she's like the superstar daughter of the fucking president of the Defense Force or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, it's very good. I enjoy it. It ticks a lot of boxes for genre stuff that I obviously enjoy. So I quickly got into this one.
All right. That's everything in our watch history. Let's move into some film news. The big news of the week. Emmy nominations kind of snuck up on me. Just seemed to just pop up out of nowhere, really. Oh no, I got rid of the tab with all my information about the Emmys.
Sorry, they didn't nominate Ray Seahorn.
Oh, shockingly. How did they not? Here we go. Yeah, so Severance leads the nominations for the 2025 Emmy Awards. The Apple TV Plus nabbed a total of 27 nominations, including Best Drama Series. The Penguin was next with a total of 24 nominations, followed by The Studio, White Lotus with 23 apiece, The Last of Us with 16, Andor and Hacks with 14, and Adolescence, The Bear, The Pit, each with 13. HBO Max, who knows, but scored the most nominations of all platforms. Some reading from the Hollywood Reporter's kind of roundup. The Studio tied the record for most nominations in a single year for the comedy series, tied with The Bears Hall last year. It'll compete for Best Comedy. Other notable acting nominees include Matlock star Kathy Bates, who became the oldest nominee for the Best Drama Actress at the age of 77, while 15-year-old adolescent star Owen Cooper is now the youngest nominee ever for Best Supporting Actor in a limited anthology series or movie. A pair of filmmakers, Martin Scorsese and Ron Howard, earned their first ever acting nominations for the guest appearances on The Studio, while Harrison Ford also landed his first Emmy nom for his Best Supporting Actor in a comedy series. It was Aduba picked up a Best Comedy Actress nominee for The Residents after The Murder Mystery was cancelled after one season, and 2025 Emmy host Nate Bargatze will compete in the category for Best Variety Special for your friend Nate Bargatze. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll run through the nominations, but was there any? What were your first impressions of the nominations when you saw them?
Quickly scrolled through them and went, they fucked Andor by not nominating any of the actors, really. And then I didn't really look at anything else, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, probably for us, Andor is the movie as the show that got massively snubbed on the acting front. I think it got. I think the only acting nomination he got was Forrest Whitaker for Best Guest.
No, someone else got guests as well. I can't remember who. There was some nominations, but only for guests.
No,
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk got nominated for Best Voice Work. Yeah. Best, outstanding character voiceover performance. But in the acting categories, I believe that was the only. Yeah, that was the only one, which is surprising and very disappointing. Yeah, I mean, the question is going to be asked how many nominations can a show get in the supporting categories? Because they were dominated by White Lotus or Severance, do we want to share the love a little bit more in these categories? We'll get to them when we get to them, but should there be a limit on how many nominations a show gets in these supporting or even guest acting categories? Because in the guest have you seen the guest actors for a comedy series?
Yeah,
it's just
all the same show,
all studio except for fucking John Bernthal for The Bear. What do you think? I know I know how you've historically stood on this, but it seems like an issue that's been pretty frequent these last few years.
I don't know if the way to fix it is they put a rule of because the problem is that if you go max of 3 for one show, but then people are but what if it's that good? But then it's like you just do that every year. You just, I don't know. I almost feel like you just need to put a rule on it so it forces. I mean, diversity. People hate the word, but it does force diversity in the what's here. So, but yeah, it's just silly when it's all the same show. And I get it because you're like, okay, all the guest performances and appearances are in the studio are all very good and funny, and it's great. Mm-hmm. Pick the best 3, and then that's enough for the studio. Just pick the best ones.
Because there can only be one winner. So naturally there has to be a best on that show.
Yeah.
So I would even narrow it down to 2 because, think I think it's kind of disappointing. Like,
I'm just saying 3 because they can't seem to nominate less than fucking every episode. So like,
yeah, that category is pretty bad, but some of the supporting acting categories are pretty bad.
Yeah, well, all of those. It's like just pick the top whatever.
All right. So, best drama series, the nominees are Andor, The Diplomat, The Last of Us, Paradise, The Pit, Severance, Slow Horses, and The White Lotus. I think The Diplomat and Paradise are kind of surprising shows that are included on that list. And even The Last of Us, I mean, people, are pretty split. People will say that show's not as good, but it's still got a lot of nominations.
I cannot believe the amount of nominations they got. That's another thing, but yep.
Other than that, solid list. Best comedy series, the nominees are Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Shrinking, The Studio, and What We Do in the Shadows. Can't make too many complaints there.
No.
It would have been. I think people would have really loved The Rehearsal to have found a way onto that list, but I don't know what you would take out because that's a pretty strong makeup of heavy hitting shows. Best limited or anthology series, the nominees are Adolescence, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, Monsters, The Island, Eric Menendez Story, and The Penguin. Again, I don't know that there were that many limited series this year.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say technically, I feel like the Penguins they haven't said they're doing a second season.
They haven't confirmed anything. It's like the White Lotus first season. That was a limited series. Yeah.
I guess at the time. Yeah.
Is an interesting one. Best television movie. Nominees are Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, The Gorge, Mountainhead, Nonnas, and Rebel Ridge.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to pick.
It's so funny. Yeah. Okay.
But the Bridget Jones was in cinemas like everywhere except America, and now it's
except for America. Yeah.
It's in the Emmys.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Just laugh about
it. Best reality program: The Amazing Race, RuPaul's Drag Race, Survivor, Top Chef, and The Traitors. Best talk show: The Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, which we'll talk about later.
You should cancel that.
Best scripted variety series: Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and Saturday Night Live. Best actor in a drama series: Sterling K. Brown for Paradise, Gary Oldman for Slow Horses, Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us, Adam Scott for Severance, and Noah Wiley for The Pit.
Yeah.
It is crazy that Pedro Pascal's in this guy.
Yep.
Because he's in 3 episodes? 3 and 5 seconds in another one?
Yeah. And he's fine. Anyway. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Over Diego Luna?
Over Diego. That's the thing.
I mean, it's hard to say because I feel like the second season of Andor is so ensemble heavy. It's hard to even classify Diego as
how the fuck are you not going to at least nominate him?
Is the name
it's the last season?
Yeah. Crazy. Best actress in a drama series, the nominees are Kathy Bates for Matlock, Sharon Horgan for Bad Sisters, Britt Lauer for Severance, Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us, and Kerry Russell for The Diplomat.
Again, I just wouldn't nominate Bella Ramsey.
Harsh. I wonder if they... No, they don't list what episode they submitted. Like, how they submit episodes to be, for nomination? They just submit that second episode. And that's all the Emmy voters see. You know what I mean?
It could be true,
though. Best supporting actor in a drama series, the nominees are Zach Cherry for Severance, Walton Goggins for The White Lotus, Jason Isaac for The White Lotus, James Marsden for Paradise, Sam Rockwell for The White Lotus, Tremel Tidmill for The Severance, and John Turturro for Severance. Were those the correct 3 to get nominated from The White Lotus?
If I know. I saw White Lotus. Then hold on, go again. Say that.
Walton Goggins, Jason Isaac, and Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with it.
You okay with Sam Rockwell being best supporting?
He is best. I mean, he's in it. What 3-4 episodes? Three and a half episodes. So yeah, that's I mean,
okay. Best actor in a limited or anthology series or movie.
I'm telling you right now, that fucking monologue he gives is enough to be nominated for supporting.
Will they show that during the ceremony?
I fucking hope so.
That's the
I showed my dad that clip out of context. He's never watched the show, just to be like, watch this, and I want you to know that when you're as confused, that's just how you're supposed to feel.
Best actor in a limited anthology series or movie. Colin Farrell for The Penguin, Stephen Graham for Adolescence, Jake Gyllenhaal for Presumed Innocent, Brian Tyree Henry for Dope Thief, and Cooper Koch for Monsters, Delisle, and Eric Menendez Story.
This is the other thing I realized that you just reminded me of, one that annoyed me. So Stephen Graham, 100%, I'm fine with that. I'm annoyed the kid didn't get nominated.
I think he's in supporting.
That is ridiculous.
No.
If he's not the lead, then he didn't kill that girl.
What? I haven't watched you, Dylan. Best supporting actress in a drama series. The nominees are Patricia Arquette for Severance, Carrie Coon for The White Lotus, Catherine Lanasa for The Pit, Julianne Nicholson for Paradise, Parker Posey for The White Lotus, Natasha Rothwell for The White Lotus, Amy Lee Wood for The White Lotus. Were those the correct four to be?
Yeah, fucking. I really hope. Well, actually, no. I'm fine with any of those. I'm really happy. Like personally, I think Carrie Coon's like the best of them in the show, but her performance isn't as I guess memorable as Parker Posey's. Which, if Parker Posey wins, the internet will love it because she is the most memed character. Repeated character. I don't know if you see clips pop up on your, but people get asked about her lines. The other actors get asked about her lines on like the daily the morning shows over in America all the time, and have to repeat the lines and all this sort of stuff. So if she wins, people are just going to be wanting her to get up there and use that ridiculous accent and say some of the more key lines from the show. But I do think Carrie Coon's my pick for the actual best performance.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, disappointing Denise Goff didn't get in here.
Yeah, again, the whole fucking Andor cast got
Andor cast. I would have really loved to see Taylor Durden from The Pit because I feel like Catherine Lanasa, that's a fantastic story, an actress who's been working decades, finally getting her first nomination. But yeah, disappointing that it's so many White Lotus people. Best guest actor in a drama series. Nominees are Giancarlo Esposito for The Boys, Scott Glenn for The White Lotus, Sean Hannity for The Pit, Joe Pantanello for The Last of Us, Forrest Whitaker for Andor, Jeffrey Wright for The Last of Us. I feel like those Last of Us nominations, they're fair.
I like how Jeffrey Wright's considered a guest actor
this season. There's only the one episode. Two episodes.
Two episodes? Yeah.
Yeah, 2. No, maybe 3.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, maybe 3. Yeah.
Still, like barely anything,
Yeah. You're still the main cast. I just don't consider. I feel like guest is like you're in and out one episode. You're an extra performer. You're not like part of the core cast.
No, I believe the rule is guest is less than 50%.
That is dumb.
Yep. You're allowed to submit yourself for supporting at that point.
Yeah.
But you're ineligible to be a guest actor if you. Because apparently, I heard someone explain, like one of the people on Raising Hope, the comedy series, was like a guest actor, but they were in every single episode. But it was like a contract thing. They were just a guest actor.
It's like at this stage, it's not guest actor. It's just whatever the word we want to choose for. Not lead, smaller part, not supporting, but third
even smaller part.
Yeah. The second supporting actor. Yeah.
Best guest actress in a drama series. Jane Alexander for Severance, Gwendolyn Christie for Severance, Caitlin Dever for The Last of Us, Cherry Jones for The Handmaid's Tale, Catherine O'Hara for The Last of Us, and Merritt Weaver for Severance.
Again, Caitlin Dever, I said this accent.
Again, she's only in like
She's the star
3
of
episodes?
then one entire episode and then a half one, and then shows up then. Not a guest actor, literally about to take over for the next entire season. But sure, whatever. I would call that a supporting actor, but fuck me.
Yeah.
What do I
Best
know?
Yeah, what do you know? Best Actress in a Comedy Series. The nominees are Uzo Abduba for The Residents, Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, Ayo Edebiri for Bear, and Jean Smart for Hacks. Strong lineup. Best Actor in a Comedy Series. The nominees are Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This, Seth Rogen for The Studio, Jason Segel for Shrinking, Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building, and Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. I would have loved to see Ted Danson get in there for The Man on the Inside, but can't play him. That's a hard list to crack. Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Nominees are Ike Barinholtz for The Studio, Coleman Domingo for The Four Seasons, Harrison Ford for Shrinking, Jeff Hiller for Somebody Somewhere, Evan Moss Backrack for The Bear, Michael Urie for Shrinking, and Bowen Yang for Saturday Night Live.
I mean, you just want to see Harrison Ford win, but it's not going to happen.
I too would love to see Harrison Ford win, but I don't know. I feel it's going to be interesting because obviously this year the Bear has been winning consistently the last few years. Third season not as well received.
Yeah,
obviously the fourth season just came out and people enjoyed. I think it was more of an uptick. Is that going to affect the voting
last
this season?
Of Game of Thrones awards still? Like, what's it matter what critics? What's that effect?
That's because the last season of Game of Thrones was very good. But yes, I would love Harrison Ford to win. Although it would be hilarious for Sal Sapenick to win. Sal Saperstein to actually go up on stage and get an award himself, not just get thanked. Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. The nominees are Liza Zayas for The Bear, Hannah Ironbinder for Hacks, Catherine Hahn for The Studio, Janelle James for Abbott Elementary, Catherine O'Hara for The Studio, Cheryl Ralph for Abbott Elementary, and Jessica Williams for Shrinking. See, that's a good mix of different shows. Represented. Best Guest Actor in a Comedy Series.
Here we go.
John Barenthal for The Bear.
Dumb.
Bryan Cranston for The Studio, Jay Franco for The Studio, Ron Howard for The Studio, Anthony Mackie for The Studio, and Martin Scorsese for The Studio.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Best Guest Actress in a Comedy Series. The nominees are Olivia Colman for The Bear, Jamie Lee Curtis for The Bear, Cynthia Erivo for Poker Face, Robbie Hoffman for Hacks, Zoe Kravitz for The Studio, and Julianne Nicholson for Hacks.
Really goes to show the guest actors they had on The Studio were more male than female.
Yeah. I would say it's very disappointing that Sarah Polley did not get nominated for the Wonder episode.
Homophobic, really.
Absolutely. Forgot to say it when we were talking about guest actors in a drama series. Forrest Whitaker nominated. You know who would nominate instead?
Anyone else?
Our boy from Andor. Ben Mendelsohn. Not going to nominate for me for an Emmy, right?
Supporting actor, though.
He was in like 3 episodes,
Yeah, he was in like half the season.
No, he was definitely not in half the season. Fucking hell.
You would not nominate me for an Emmy, would you, mate?
Mate.
You wouldn't leave me off your Emmy ballot, would you, mate? You wouldn't fail to tick old Benny Mendelsohn on the Emmy ballot, would you, mate? You wouldn't
Emmy award-winning actor.
Yeah, you wouldn't Emmy award-winning Australian legend Benny Mendelsohn.
Best actress in a limited or anthology series or movie. We got Cate Blanchett, Aussie legend, for a disclaimer. Megan Fahey for Sirens. Rashida Jones for Black Mirror. Kristen Milotti for The Penguin, and Michelle Williams for Dying for Sex.
Yeah, that's fine. I do want to know. We've really owned this Ben Mendelsohn bit. Grammar running bit. I do want to give shout outs stolen from Auntie Donna. I don't feel like I've ever properly credited,
acknowledged
the bit. It's a stolen bit from Auntie Donna. Shout outs.
But we're
claiming it.
We're eking out each bit of like the oil and material left in that bit.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
they move on and do new things. They move on.
We're happy to do the same thing over and over. So, just saying.
Best supporting actor in limited series or anthology movie. Javier Bardem for Monsters, the Lila and Eric Menendez story. Bill Camp for Presumed Innocent. Owen Cooper for Adolescence. Rob Delaney for Dying for Sex. Peter Skarsgård for Presumed Innocent. And Ashley Walters for Adolescence. Best supporting actress in a limited anthology series. Erin Doherty for Adolescence. Ruth Negga for Presumed Innocent. Deirdre O'Connell for The Penguin. Chloe Savini for Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Jenny Slate for Dying for Sex. And Kristen Tremarco for Adolescence. Then we got writing for a comedy series. Quinta Brunson for Anna. We got Abbott Elementary episode for Hacks. The Rehearsal got a nomination. Somebody Somewhere, The Studio, and What We Do in the Shadows. Cool to see The Rehearsal getting some love. Their best writing for a drama series, we've got Andor, 2 episodes of The Pit, Severance, Slow Horses, and an episode of White Lotus. Best writing for a limited series, Adolescence, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, Penguin, Say Nothing, hasn't been mentioned at all this whole time.
You can't say anything about it.
That's true. Best directing for a comedy series, the nominees are The Bear, Hacks, Mid-Century Modern, The Rehearsal, and The Studio. Best directing for a drama series, we got Andor, 2 episodes of The Pit, 2 episodes of Severance, Slow Horses, and The White Lotus. And best directing for a limited anthology series or movie, Adolescence, Dying for Sex, The Penguin, Sirens, and Zero Day. So lots of interesting nominations. Of course, I always like to look at the creative Emmy nominations as well, because there's lots of interesting categories and things there. Like best animated program, the nominees are Arcane, Bob's Burgers, Common Side Effects, Love, Death and Robots, and The Simpsons. What a mix. Surely Arcane would win, but you don't know.
You would assume, but
or best variety live special. We've got the Apple Music Super Bowl 69.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think no.
Show, right?
Yeah, L is 50, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So 59, I guess.
Yeah.
Halftime show starring Kendrick Lamar.
Yep.
Beyonce Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The Oscars. The SNL 50th anniversary special, and the SNL 50th anniversary homecoming concert.
Okay.
What a mix. And then there's this category, outstanding short form, non-fiction or reality series.
Sorry, go again.
Outstanding short form non-fiction or reality series. What do you think that category is for?
Reality TV shows.
The nominees are Adolescence, The Making of Adolescence, Hacks, Bit by Bit, Making of The Last of Us, Only Murders in the Building, Unlocking the Mystery, and The White Lotus, Unpacking the Episode.
Okay, I see the picture now. Hold on. Best short form. Hold on. Best short form, live action, non-fiction, reality series. Best behind the scenes documentary.
Yep, just best behind the scenes documentary.
Got him.
Yep. Got him. What else is interesting in this? Outstanding character voiceover performances. The nominees are Julie Andrews for Bridgerton, Hank Azaria for The Simpsons, Maya Rudolph for Big Mouth, Alan Tudyk for Andor, Jeffrey Wright for What If, and Steven Yeun for Invincible. Interesting mix again.
I haven't looked that far into this, but is there any for stand-up specials this year?
Yes, there is. Let me...
Because I haven't looked, so hit me.
There is... It's the Outstanding Variety Special pre-recorded.
Yep.
So you got Adam Sandler, Love You, Ali Wong, Single Lady, Bill Burr, Drop Dead Years, Conan O'Brien, the Kennedy Center Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. Sarah Silverman, Postmortem, and your friend Nate Bargatze.
I don't know who that last one is.
I'm sure you'd recognize him if you saw his face, but
I've seen
apparently the Emmy host is here.
Ah, there you go.
Or maybe you wouldn't recognize him because that's not who I thought it was.
I'm gonna look it up. How do you spell? Nate.
Yes, Bargatze.
Oh, yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
There you go.
I've actually watched one of his specials.
There you go.
And he was in an episode of, or was he? Hold on, let me check the phone. No, he was. He was in an episode of John Mulaney. Everyone's in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That show should be nominated.
No, it's got snubbed.
That is a snub, actually.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then last one, outstanding music. No, hang on. Outstanding original music and lyrics. We got Agatha All Along for The Ballad of the Witch's Road, Andor for We Are the Gore, The Boys for Let's Put the Christ Back in Christmas, SNL 50th Anniversary Special for 50 years, and Will and Harper for Harper and Will Go West.
I forgot about this one. This is when I saw on the Andor or Star Wars account when they posted the thing. It's like, and they shouted out they were nominated for this one. Like, it's like lyrics by I think it was Tony Gilroy and and who was the other person? It was someone of note, I think, that actually did the lyrics. Of the
Nicholas Britell.
Yeah,
the composer. Yeah.
So he teamed up. Tony Gilroy teamed up with the composer to do the song, which I thought was cool. It wasn't just like it wasn't just gibberish on the page, or it wasn't just done by the composer. It was like I like how it was actually.
Yeah.
Creative thing.
All right. Were there any other major snubs that you feel like? Yeah.
Nah, nothing super jumped out to me this year, to be honest, other than the Andor stuff.
Yeah. I think there may be like surprises at things, like, because obviously
I'm surprised how much the Penguins nominated. I think would be
given that it was so long ago.
Yeah, and also just it's a comic book TV show. Like doesn't.
But Batman is part of the Batman universe, so
I feel like that's Emmy audience. It's not something I'd predict them to like,
I think it's interesting that Squid Game got absolutely nothing. Like, obviously, it wasn't as well received the second season, and it was in a much more difficult category in like drama series, I guess. But like, even for technical awards, you would think it may have picked something up. What else? I mean, it's really Andor that's surprising, Yeah, and maybe more nominations for Pit would be nice, but I mean, can't ask for too much. Although they, handle it reasonably well. It's just, all the White Lotus love. It's just too much. Mike White, have less actors next season.
Yeah. Again, I love White Lotus. I'm happy for them to, like, they all deserve it, but just less.
Just narrow it down.
I can say it as someone who says, I get it. They're all great. Just pick the best ones. Just.
All right. Moving on, there was a big announcement this week. I'm reading from Deadline. Stephen Colbert was struggling to get through the opening lines of his telecast on Thursday, announcing that his turn behind the desk of The Late Show was coming to an end, as well as the fact that CBS was ignominiously axing its storied late-night history altogether. His wife, Evie Colbert, was watching the taping, was visually emotional, according to audience members. A group that erupted into boos as the comedian revealed the news that has left fans of the show, the 200 people that work on it, and the wider late-night community in a state of shock. Colbert was told of the cancellation on Wednesday and informed his staff ahead of the taping. It was a stunning reversal from May when George Cheeks, co-CEO of Paramount Global and President, Chief Executive Officer of CBS, told Deadline that he was really likes our hand at 11:30, saying the day part is challenging at an ad sales perspective. I love our hand. We have the number one person at 11:30 for the last 9 years. We still do believe in that day, and we still do believe in the day part, but it is a challenge. Writers, producers, and crew were said to be devastated across the board. The Late Show happens to be a very close-knit staff, more than any of the other shows, and there's not an abundance of jobs out there. The cancellation is the latest bit of bad news for the late night sector after the Tonight Show was cut back from 5 nights a week to 4 nights a week, making the last night show to revert to its 4 nights a week format, while Late Night had its 8G band axed and now shoots 2 shows in one day to save money. There have been rumors the NBC has been mulling bringing together both backroom operations between those 2 shows to save further cash, though this has been denied. One former network boss said this is the end of an era. Another late night producer told Deadline that the news was depressing and weird. I feel there's more to come to the story. Clearly, the economics of late night are no longer what they once were. The late show, which is thought to cost slightly less than $75 million per year to produce, before adding Colbert's salary, which is pegged in the mid-teens, has been losing money for the network. Deadline understands that CBS also came to Colbert, whose contract was up next year before the season, asking for a cut. But The Late Show is the most watched late night show in the country, so if the Tiffany network, as Colbert recorded in his announcement, couldn't make late night work, who could? In fact, Colbert averaged over 600,000 more viewers in the second quarter of the year than its nearest rival. Late Show averaged 2.42 million viewers between April and June, more than ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, 1.77 million, and the 1.23 plus more viewers than the Tonight Show, which is average 1.19 million. However, it's a different story when it comes to slightly younger viewers, with Kimmel topping the charts with the 18 to 49 demo with 220,000 viewers, slightly ahead of Colbert's 219,000. Digital is also a different story. The Tonight Show has 32.7 million subscribers on YouTube. Kimmel has 20.7 million viewers, and The Late Show has 9.96 million viewers. Important metrics giving the predominance of viewers watching those shows the next day via clips. Of course, CBS's recent form in cancelling late night shows. The networks opted not to stick with the Late Show with James Corden after James Corden stepped down. And it also axed the 12:30 slot entirely earlier this year when Taylor Tomlinson decided she wants to return to stand-up touring in lieu of hosting after midnight. Yeah, I guess, Dylan, what is your initial thoughts on The Late Show, a kind of an institution in American late-night television coming to an end?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember whose article I saw posted when I woke up and saw news, but it was definitely framed to me straight away with the, hey, here's the background between, like, how politics between Trump and like the CEOs of and the merger.
Well, that is the other elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Paramount and Skydance are currently trying to merge together, but the current government is not keen on letting it through, even though it seems like a pretty standard case.
Yeah.
You know, not the FTC should not be blocking this move. You know, considering all that went through with at Microsoft and Activision on the video game front, which was a much more terrible monopoly-esque deal. So it just kind of seems weird that prior to that, they settled in a court dispute around a 60 Minutes story that they did on Kamala Harris, which the government was suing them because they didn't believe they stuck to correct election rules because they cut certain things out of the interview. They didn't
cut certain things; they just cut it in half, basically.
Yeah, they edited it in some way. Any legal expert out there would have said they would have won the case if they had gone to court, but they settled with the
government. For some reason, they chose not to.
Yeah. So 2 days prior to this, Colbert comes out on the show and like shit talks his own company because they're pussies, and bow down to the chief. And then the news came out. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories as there's some sort of massive political move, but as described here, it's also clearly a financial move. And this could be the first, step in ending late night television in America forever.
I'm buying into the conspiracy theory
Why not?
because I just don't think that it's years ago. You'd be like, surely that's not something that could be happening. No president would be. Yeah, it's a different age we live in now, so yeah, I'm sort of buying into the conspiracy theory. Also, I just don't like when you see the numbers and when you see them laid out and you're like, what? This one's like double the next highest, whichever one that was. Yeah, it just sort of go, well, how the fuck are they? How are the other ones surviving it? Like, what's the if it was solely a money thing, then all of them would be cancelled. Cancel them all, you know. No one watches them apparently.
But I mean, nobody watches them live, which I think is the key thing. You know, like I know I watch a lot of the stuff like whenever it pops up on YouTube. Like, if
Where do you
it's a
even
fun
watch it
bit,
live here in Australia though? Wouldn't you need like Foxtel or some shit?
I
Can
don't
you watch
know
it
if you
live?
can watch it live here in Australia. I
Yeah,
think
well there you go. So that doesn't count.
No, but at least in America, where it's just target audiences, like nobody, that is a very small fraction. And
Which is weird,
that could be just a case of linear television in general.
Yeah, I
Struggling
mean,
to get eyes.
that is it's a combination between new media and like I understand how like I wouldn't watch Jimmy Kimmel even if it was an option. No offense to Jimmy Kimmel, but like not my type of show / humor / whatever. But like I guess you can understand like how his show potentially more survives on. He does a lot of those segments that become like hyper shareable on online and can go viral. Viral moments on TikTok and stuff like that, and Stephen Colbert doesn't have that.
No.
But to then be like a show that's not targeted at 18, young 18 and teenagers and whatever, young adults, to be like a show like that cannot survive. It's like, well, it's already doing more viewers, so like, what's the it's so weird and confusing. And
I mean, yeah, I think I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast, but they were talking about it, and like the expert on there was pretty much like they're losing $40 million a year on this show.
What else they losing?
Is
money
the
on
numbers
there?
like that's true? It's like
because it can't just be this.
And but then you would also question like, why couldn't you scale back? Like,
yeah, that's the how is the only choice?
Why was the number one choice?
Shut it down.
Let's just shut everything down.
Yeah, a show that
and,
has
like not even get rid of the host. Like, get rid of the
Mm.
brand name that started with David Letterman back in the
hire the like
90s.
If it was a money,
35 years ago.
If it was a money thing, wouldn't you just fire Stephen Colbert and bring in someone else who you could pay a lot less? Wouldn't that be like if that was really the option? But it also had me thinking during the week though, like there are so many comedians, and I think John Mulaney is like a good example. Like obviously John Mulaney, I just mentioned it recently. Obviously everybody's in LA, a show that is not really like any of these shows, but is very influenced by these shows, and he is influenced by late night shows, and obviously love watching. A lot of comedians love late night shows. A lot of comedians got their start on late night shows. All these things. It's a well loved. You would nearly call it an American institution. Yeah, that'd be the word. I would agree that it sort of is for comedy and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, if this is the first crumble of late night shows, that is super terrible.
Yeah, I mean, just because it's a art form that's been around since the 50s.
The day for the start of television,
and like like, well, not quite the start of television, but when they
close enough,
pretty close to the start of television. I mean, it's kind of shocking and like, but I mean, then is it really that surprising? Like when you've got like have shows like Hot Ones and Chicken Shop Date and Royal Court and like, things like that, like kind of taken some of the stuff from the need of these late night shows to see, because a lot of the draw of these late night shows was like seeing the celebrities come in and do interviews and that kind of thing. Now you go to any single freaking YouTube channel, you can see celebrities like doing the promos for the next
Also,
project on every single one of these.
I think it's then a pivot thing, right? So, Chicken Shop Day and Hot Ones, like they have become really like they've become part of the celebrities' press tour for when they're marketing a movie and stuff, or for a lot of them, which is where obviously the late night shows usually come in. But then it's like, okay, if that's it, then pivot the late night shows to like if that's not the thing anymore, pivot, find something else.
I think it might be. I think look at the most recent late night host who's doing the most successfully at the moment, Conan O'Brien. Switched over completely to podcasts. You know,
knew it.
And, I mean, that is where the comedians go now to do appearances and that kind of thing and promote like
costs less money.
A lot of podcasts and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I know that it's coming in our territory, but
yeah, I'll tell you what I can't wait. Whose opinion I can't wait to hear on this? John Oliver's.
I believe he did do it on Last Week Tonight.
I haven't seen.
I think he said it was sad. Like I just only saw the article. I haven't watched the video yet. I mean, the other one will be Jon Stewart when he does the Daily Show this week. So obviously they're very close and that kind of thing. So yeah, crazy end of an era. Disappointing because I think Steve Bell's a fantastic dude and like very funny and I loved watching him on the Colbert Report back in the day. And then obviously one of the like great political voices in late night at the moment. So with Seth Meyers, I would argue. So the only two really tackling with the Daily Show, kind of tackling the bullshit on a regular basis. So I mean,
I was just looking. So apparently, I was going to say I'm saying a new episode. Last week tonight's last episode was June 29th. Next episode is July 27th. So he took a month off. So he's coming back after a month off to Stephen Colbert's done.
That's interesting. Maybe he just released a statement.
Yeah, that's why I looked at my Trakt feed to see if it was on there. But yeah. Because I've caught up. I caught up the other week with my 99 cents for the first 3 months binge sucking me back in, and I could catch up on Last Week Tonight. So. That said, I really hope they lose it and put it on HBO Max next year. So.
Yeah, he said it was terrible news for the world of comedy in a statement to the Associated Press, who interviewed him at the first game of the Erie Moon Mammoths minor league baseball team, rebranded for Oliver and his staff.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. So they. Did you read that news story? It was a funny.
No.
He did a story on what do you call it? Like the lower league of baseball or whatever. Minor league sort of stuff. And he did a story on how like crazy that world is and how the teams have like these mascots and stuff. And then at the end of one episode, he put our call in it, like did one of those like email addresses and said, "Hey, if you think your mascot's the worst mascot and you need like a complete rebrand, send in like a pitch video or whatever." And then they played a bunch of the videos of these teams like saying, "We'll do us blah blah blah," because they said they'll cover the costs or whatever, but they legally have to agree to just go with whatever they come up with. So then at the end of I think it was the last episode or whatever, he they revealed at the end what team it was, and they said, "Stay tuned to find out what we rebrand you as, and you have no choice," and all this sort of,
yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll see how the next 10 months play out, because it'll be very interesting. Is he going to stay classy? Probably.
But, I hope.
Also, it's crazy that the president came out and said, "Thank God he's getting rid of." He's lost.
Also, I've seen a lot of I saw a lot of clips on of Stephen Colbert on my TikTok after the news broke. The algorithm was doing its work. The comment section is crazy because you can there's people posting like normal stuff like who upset, like oh sad, blah, blah, blah. And you'll say like crazy for the one person that watches the show and stuff, like obviously the
amongst all these messages of love and stuff.
Yeah, like it's weird, but then you're like, well, no, because it's the most watched. Like, what do you?
Yeah, there are literally numbers to prove that it's more than one person.
But facts aren't facts. You know what I mean? Facts are only facts if you believe them. Facts are a choice. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Last story for this week. Kevin Feige came out and had a wide-ranging conversation with press on Friday, reading from Variety, in which he confirmed the following events. Following the events of 2027's Avengers Secret Wars, the company will recast the superpowered mutants for the upcoming X-Men movie, directed by Jake Schreier. Many actors who starred in the X-Men movies of the 2000s and 2010s are reprising their roles in 2026's Avengers Doomsday, including Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Mermin, James Marsden, and Kelsey Grammer. Stewart also played Charles Xavier in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and Grammer appeared as Hank McCoy in a post-credit scene in The Marvels. In future films, however, the X-Men characters who appeared in previous movies will be played by new actors, along with mutants making their big screen debuts. The decision echoes changes in the composition of the Marvel's comics following the 2015 Secret Wars storyline, which will involve multiple timelines collapsing and reconverging, mixing up the characters of the main Marvel's timeline in the process. We're utilizing that story not just to round out the stories we've been telling post-Endgame, just as importantly, and you look at the Secret Wars comic for where we are, it's a very, very much sets us up for the future. Endgame literally was the ending. Secret Wars about beginnings, Kevin Feige said. But Feige, he was careful not to characterize the changes as a reboot. Instead, the executive said Secret Wars will serve as a reset. Reboot is a scary word. Reboots can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline. We're thinking along these lines. X-Men is where that will happen next. Feige noted that the X-Men comics, with their focus on Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, naturally centered around adolescent characters. There have been a place to tell stories about young people who feel different and who feel other and who feel like they don't belong. That's the universal story of mutants, and that is where we're going. Even more intriguing, Feige also indicated that other Marvel characters will eventually be recast, including its most iconic roles like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. He pointed to many other major film franchises that have done the same thing multiple times over. Amy Pascal and David Heyman have been now searching for a new Bond. David Corenswet, the new Batman, who was awesome. That will always be the case. Feige acknowledged that the stars who retired their MCU roles, like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, have made it difficult to imagine anyone else in the roles, but it is an impossible task. I think it's hard for anyone to do that when an actor has done such a great role. How are they going to ever replace Sean Connery as James Bond, right? At least two legacy actors may still appear in the MCU as well. Asked about his plans for a follow-up to Marvel's 2024 blockbuster Deadpool and Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, Feige, in typical fashion, made no definitive statements, but also did not close off any possibilities. I think that there is more fun to be had with both of those characters, but we'll see where. Dylan, how do you feel about, well, I guess, confirmation, X-Men, we're going to get a new batch of people playing X-Men for Jake Schreier's version of the film post-Secret Wars. But how do you also feel about the possibility of them recasting Iron Man and Captain America?
I mean, the first part's like sort of thing. It's like, yeah, we'll have a recast X-Men. I'm like, yeah, because everyone assumed as much. But everything else he said was vomit in my mouth, attempting to spray all over my computer screen. Because what the fuck are we talking about right now? Let's recast, reboot. What do we like? Oh,
well, they're resetting the worlds.
I don't care.
But it does kind of make sense if they're going to reset the world in which a X-Men, all the X-Men existed in the MCU. You know what I mean?
It's terrible. They've spent the last few years doing a terrible job with these movies and TV shows, and they're on struggle street a bit. But within that, they have introduced some interesting characters and some interesting new cast, and people who haven't had a chance to truly shine yet. And by doing that, I feel like they just completely fucking screwing them over. Because what he's basically saying is, no one we've introduced in the last, how long has it been since Endgame?
5 years, 4 years.
Okay, 4 years, 4 or 5. No one we've introduced in the last 4 or 5 years is good enough to carry this series. The character or the actor, either or, no one's good enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to reset. We're going to give you the X-Men, and we're going to give you some strong characters like a Wolverine, a Cyclops, a Professor X, whatever, like the big lead sort of characters. We'll cast them well, and then we're going to reset, and we're going to give you new Captain America, we're going to give you new Iron Man, we're going to have to bring them back to the people, we're going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back, maybe as a different character, but we're going to bring back all these different characters and actors because all what we have going on now is shit, and yous all hate it. fuck you, Florence Pugh. And you know what? Anyone saying fuck you,
Whoa,
Florence Pugh,
I don't think he's saying
that's
fuck you, Florence Pugh.
I think he said.
I think he's
you,
saying
Florence
fuck
Pugh.
everybody except Florence Pugh because that's the only opinion to have. Well, that's not the only opinion to have, but you would definitely not say fuck you to Florence Pugh, is what I'm saying.
Fuck you, Florence Pugh. Fuck you. Who else do we like? Simulu. Fuck you. Who was he saying fuck you to? Fuck you to what's the actress who plays Miss Marvel? Whatever her name is. Fuck you to her.
I want to say Kamala Khan, but that's the case.
That's the character. I'm gonna find it. Aman Vellani.
Yeah.
Fuck her is what he just said.
Fuck you, Brie Larson.
Fuck you, Brie Larson. And you know what? Anyone saying fuck Brie Larson wearing a red hat, you know? And it may say make America great again. Is all I'm saying. So
I'm pretty sure he says MCU or Marvel.
Yeah.
He's red hat.
Yeah, it's could be true. But yeah, no, I don't like that. That's one of the most disgusting pieces of word vomit interviews I've read in recent memory. All right, you do your fence sitting, fucking try and spread positive.
I'm
nonsense.
open to however they want to reset things. If they want to just completely start fresh, I guess
they're like with it. Hold on, let me also say they're talking
be a reboot.
They're bringing up. They're like 007. Oh, the character that hasn't had a film for like years now, and like they let that story finish, and now they're starting again, which is a reboot somewhat. Or they're talking about Superman. Oh, because DC just started a whole new universe and the last one failed, so they're having to start again. So are you comparing it to that? So it's like
Batman as example.
They're bad comparisons because you're literally saying it's not a reboot or anything and using the word reset, but you're giving the comparison as series is like 007, which finished its story and has let it sit for years, and it'll be another few years before it comes out.
Not a
continuing story.
None of the stories
really connected. And then you're comparing it to Superman, which DC failed to beat you for years and building up the cinematic universe,
and has historically only used one actor for each attempt.
Failed horribly, and then you're saying, "Oh, it's just like those." Okay, so you're saying that basically you fucked your universe so hard in the last 5 years, you're now having to reboot it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Listen, you go to that Marvel page, there's not many heavy hitters. None of their strongest characters are currently in the universe, really, outside of Thor. And Spider-Man, I guess. Got to put them back on the table. Put the chess pieces back on the table. Make all those Black Panther recast people happy again, Reset.
I don't need another fucking Iron Man.
You say that now. Then
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it when I watch it as well.
Listen, next week's top three picks for the next time.
I refuse. I'm not participating.
All right, that's all the news for this week. Let's move into giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we have to talk about in the show notes below. Kicking things off, we've got Mortal Kombat 2, directed by Simon McQuaid, starring Jessica McNamee, Josh Lawson, Ludi Lin, Mikael Brooks, Louis Tan, Damon Herriman, Chin Han, Tabunobu Asano, Joe Taslim, Hiroyuki Sanada, Carl Urban, and Adele Rudolph and Tati Gabrielle. The fan-favorite champions, now joined by Johnny Cage himself, are pitted against one another in the ultimate battle to the death, the dark rule of Shao Kahn that threatens the very existence of the Earthrealm and its defenders. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2?
I'm going to go one up, one down. Obviously, Johnny Cage, Carl Urban looks very good, but there's a lot of stuff in it that just looks like, I don't know, it's just the very like CGI heavy worlds and settings and stuff that wasn't doing a lot for me, to be completely honest. I was like, this looks, but at the same time, that's sort of what the first movie had. And the thing with the first movie is it wasn't terrible, but it was so forgettable. Like, you try and tell me what the fuck happened in that now. Like, I can barely remember. I remember like scenes and moments and whatever, but like it was so forgettable. And there was no like standout locations. The standout moments from that first film were like the
opening
character interactions, and like everyone loved Kano, Josh Lawson, because he was funny and stuff like that. It's like I
because
feel like
he's American. Yes, Iran.
well, yeah. And like maybe this will have some of that as well, and hopefully it will. Like the cast is still like there's a lot of really interesting, good people in the cast, and I'm hoping that the Carl Urban stuff will carry it forward and stuff. But yeah, I'll just say that the fights themselves and the settings, like even there's people point out online, and I agree. There's like a part where he does a backflip and his fucking leg seems to grow to 20 feet long. But yeah, it's like I just think the fighting and stuff, which is really weird because it's Mortal Kombat, is the least interesting. I'm excited to see Carl Urban interact with characters in this movie, and I don't really care about the fighting.
I'm gonna give this trailer two thumbs up. I think it reminded me Mortal Kombat 2 is coming. And I think it did an interesting thing of centering it around Johnny Cage. And like obviously there was an iconic character who was not involved in the first film. But like it seems like this seems like a beginning of the franchise film. It's like here is your entry point, and you are the entry point to the entry character. They're all gonna fix ourselves to.
It's sort of like Twisted Metal Season 2 is like actually now they're doing the game, and Mortal Kombat 2 they're actually now doing Mortal Kombat.
Actually now doing the tournament.
Yeah.
I think Carl Urban looks great. I didn't mind the backflip. I didn't care about how his legs looked. I was just impressed he was doing a backflip.
That's because he definitely wasn't doing the backflip, but that's fine.
Good for Carl Urban doing his thing. Yeah, I was impressed.
Do you think it's also weird? So like obviously, I mean it's pretty obvious. Like Carl Urban's the star of this one now, right? And they've pushed Lewis Tan's character.
Didn't even see him in the trailer.
Didn't even see him in the trailer. Like he's just.
I would not be shocked if he is killed straight away.
Crazy.
Cool that you get started back here. It's like, get over here. Definitely not his voice, but so. Mortal Kombat coming to cinemas on the 23rd of October. It's actually, before I forget, did you see the news? Because we mentioned Carl Urban. Did you see the news that Taika's attached to make a Dread movie?
Yes.
That seems like such a weird choice.
I hate it.
Because he's not an action dude at all.
No. It's just.
It would be funny if he made like the most hardcore, like bloody action movie. He had the guy completely against his tone. But I can't imagine him doing that at all.
Between the comics and how well they did the last film, and like being like, I just don't picture Taika doing it good. Whatever. Like I can picture Taika doing a film that people like. Here's the thing: he'll do a film that people will probably like. They're like, man, I love this Judge Dredd, and I'll be like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but like,
yeah,
I don't feel like this is Judge Dredd. He'll have Judge Dredd like cracking. He likes doing movies with characters talking a lot. He likes writing dialogue and stuff. I'm like, it's Judge Dredd. Like, what the fuck are we?
Doesn't talk.
He doesn't. Yeah, like, what are we talking about?
I don't think anyway. Next trailer is Night Always Comes, directed by Benjamin Caron, starring Vanessa Kirby, Zach Gottsagen, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Julia Fox, Eli Roth, and Randall Park. Risking everything to secure a future for herself and her brother, Lynette sets out on a dangerous odyssey, confronting her own past over the course of one propulsive night. Dylan, what do you think of Night Always Comes?
Double thumbs up. Every now and then, Netflix puts out what looks like a real movie, and this looks like to be a real movie, not some doing your laundry bullshit that we usually talk about. This looks really good. Vanessa Kirby looks to be sensational in this, like based off the trailer only. Like this, I was like she's already good. Like everything she's in is good, but this is her. This looks to be like she's like I can fucking act, which she acts in other things, but obviously more as she's usually a supporting role. I can't say anything I've seen her. I don't know what the hell I've seen her in where she's the lead. I've never seen her in anything where she's the lead.
What was that film? I'm trying to remember. Not that I
that
saw
one.
it, but no, there was a.
Pieces of a Woman.
Pieces of Woman. That's the one.
Yeah, which I haven't watched, so I can't
Comment on. Yeah, but
I can't comment on. But yeah, like obviously she's most known for what over the last couple of years, either Mission Impossible or
that was a Academy Award nominated role. So
Napoleon, which she was good in, but again, it's supporting.
she was one of the best parts.
Yeah, she was one of the best parts.
Rough,
She was the best. Obviously, she's she's well known for being in The Crown, but again, supporting. And then what the fuck is the other thing? Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, again, supporting, but she's also the best part. So yeah, I'm very keen for this. I think.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Looks really fantastic. Like, obviously, very simple story, but looks like it's being very well told. Yeah, Vanessa Kirby looks really great. Her brother, played by, who did I say? Luca. Zach Gotteskin. Good to see him getting more work after a lot of people loved him in the Peanut Butter Falcon.
He was so good in that.
So, yeah, looks really good. So, Night Always Comes is coming to Netflix on the 15th of August. Next trailer, Hoppers, directed by Daniel Chong, starring Piper Curda, Billy Monahan, and John Hamm. After a group of scientists invent a way for human brains to inhabit mechanical bodies, Mabel Tanaka uses their technology to embody a realistic robot beaver and thwart a construction company's plot to destroy the local animal habitat. So what do you think of this teaser for the next Pixar film, Hoppers?
Yeah, I really liked it. Double thumbs up. Weirdly, it made me think about the Yorgos film where they're like, if you don't find a lover, we'll turn you into an animal. I'm like, oh, this is the technology from
Lobster.
Lobster, thank you. I'm struggling with old names and things tonight, so even a simple title like the old Lobster apparently just gave me. But yeah, I'm like, oh man, this is the technology from that. Pixar's like taken that, and that's what we're doing here now. But yeah, this looked I don't know, teaser trailer obviously, but it looked cute, looked fun. That the scene with the bear was funny. You've ruined it now. Yeah, I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. It's part of the hunt,
Yeah. Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. I think, like, obviously it's a while away. They don't want to give too much away about plot points and that kind of stuff, but they did a really great job of, like, giving you a taste and feel of what the film is going to be. I think it's really interesting that it is being directed by Daniel Chong, who created the show We Bear Bears, which is a very beloved Cartoon Network show about a bunch of bears. But it very much feels like the first time in a while Pixar has gone out of their like in-house studio, like finding people in-house to go develop a film. Like the first time since arguably Brad Bird did The Incredibles. Like they went and
look how terrible that turned out for them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm putting too much faith in him to like create something really special and new for Pixar, because it does kind of look like something like a DreamWorks, or like it's a story concept that like a DreamWorks or one of them studios could have done. But it looks like really fun. It's like just to call out the concept straight away, and like it's just like Avatar. No, it's not like Avatar. But yeah, I'm very keen to check out Hoppers, which is coming to Australian cinemas 5th of March 2026. I think, if I put the right date down.
No, that sounds about right.
It sounds about right. Next trailer is for After the Hunt, directed by Luca Guadagnino, starring Julia Roberts, Ada Berry, Andrew Garfield, Michael Stelberg, and Chloe Sevigny. A college professor finds herself at a personal and professional crossroad when a star student levels an accusation against one of her colleagues, threatening to expose a dark secret from her own past. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for After the Hunt?
Yes, double thumbs up. Can't wait. I find I do wonder. Like Luca is just seemingly shitting out movies, right? With big American casts now. He just has. Yeah, I don't know. He's like hitting.
He's on a bit of a tear.
He's on a bit of a tear, and they must be making enough money that they keep like saying, because this cast cannot be cheap, is all I'm going to say. Like Julia Roberts cannot come cheap, but I'm also, it just keeps making me think about the audience that's coming into this. Like the Julia Roberts audience coming into this movie, I feel like is very different to the audience that are watching it because it's like a new Luca film. Like I just feel like there's not a cross between the fan bases there. I'm very keen for this. I'm very keen to see Michael Stuhlbarg in this, who it seems like a perfect role for him, to be honest. This where he's playing this, and oddly, Andrew Garfield playing the sleazy professor,
The accused.
Accused. Look, he did it. I can see it in his fucking dirty little face. Yeah, I know it's a very interesting cast movie. Like if you look at the four main people, you're like, these people are all very good. I would have never picked the four of them leading a movie together, but here we are. And also we get a new Trent Reznor Atticus Ross score, so looking
I
forward to
didn't
that.
see that.
Yeah, that's the first thing I looked up after the trailer dropped the other day. Trailer dropped the other day, and I was listening to it and going, I think that sounds like them. And then I looked it up straight after, and it is, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. It looks very fascinating, like this incredible like character study and like kind of, this kind of post B2 kind of position we're at, where, maybe these older guard of people are like kind of fed up with the younger guard people and their politics and kind of stuff. Like I think one of the most selling lines is like Edeberry going like, "Oh, I'm not comfortable having this conversation with you anymore," which is like, not everything is meant to be comfortable, Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard hitting, one of these films, but like, we enjoyed the sexiness of challenges, but also there was like some real interesting dynamic stuff in that as well. So, this seems to be less sexy, but who knows? Maybe it will be sexy in the end.
It was mainly when I watched the trailer the other day. It was after I was listening to the latest episode of the big picture, and I think it was maybe because I just listened to that podcast and then watched this trailer. But on that, they were pointing out how that people obviously complain. There's like people have weird complaints about Eddington because that's the movie I was talking about on it. Because they're like, I don't want to watch something about something so now relevant. And they're pointing out how a lot of directors now don't like making movies about stuff happening now. Like everyone likes to make stuff about, if it's not fantastical or fancy, like if it's a thing, it's like set in the fucking at least 90s, early 2000s, whatever. Like a lot of directors, but then and rightfully so. It's like a lot of the times the best directors or the movies that people view as the greatest movies of all time were made in the now when they like came out. And they mentioned like Apocalypse Now is obviously made like basically like a year after fucking Vietnam. I was like, it was just. Then I watched this trailer and it was making me think like, how many people are going to be like doing the whole like, fucking Me Too movement, like who wants to watch shit about that or whatever. It just had me thinking like, it is quite interesting that people, because you saw that with Eddington, like, which hasn't come out here yet, never watched it, but straight away you saw people being like, I don't watch a movie about COVID, like that's too close. I don't watch a movie, but I'm wondering if it's the same sort of thing. I don't want to watch a movie about fucking Me Too sort of stuff. Like, I'm sick of that shit. Like, show me something space robots.
Why can't we have both?
Yeah, well. Yeah.
All right. After the Hunt is coming to Australian cinemas on the 16th of October. Final trailer for this week. Tron Ares. Directed by Joachim Roning. Starring Jared Leto, Greta Lee, Evan Peters, Hassan Minaj, Jodie Turner-Smith, Arturo Castro, Cameron Monaghan, Gillian Anderson, and Jeff Bridges. Tron Ares follows a highly sophisticated program, Ares, who is sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission, marking humankind's first encounter with AI beings. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Tron Ares?
I'm going to go double thumbs up. I did enjoy the trailer. I'm looking forward to this movie. I'd be looking forward to it more if it didn't have Jared Leto in it, but it's just the world we're living in, so I'm going to deal with it.
I can believe he's a robot.
Robots can't start cults.
Yeah.
At least as far as I'm aware.
Robots don't start cults. They don't pretend to be disabled. And they don't send their co-stars rats.
Well, yeah. I'll say the rest of the cast, I'm fucking super pumped about that. So if I ignore him as the lead, as hard as that is, that's what we're dealing with. Like, I was like, after I watched the trailer,
Just believe Greta Lee is the lead.
Well, yeah, that's I look like. Let me just for people listening. So ignoring Jared Leto and Jeff Bridges, which like nothing against Jeff Bridges, but it's like he's just a return to character. Gillian Anderson, obviously, hell yeah. Greta Lee, as just mentioned, hell yeah. Evan Peters, one for me, but Sarah Desjarnes is in this, who's the daughter from Yellow Jackets, so shout out. Cameron Monaghan, Jodie Turner-Smith, Hassan Minaj, and Aruto Castro, who most people would probably know from fuck, what's that? Who's in that really I'm trying to remember now. No, never mind. No, my computer froze.
Roadhouse.
No, something else. Anyway,
White Man Can Jump.
no, something else.
The Menu.
Yeah, I think I was thinking that.
Weird Al. Young
No,
Rich
no,
Story.
No, not that.
I liked him in the Broken Hearts Gallery.
Narcos.
Broad City.
Sorry.
Yes.
Anyway, the cast is stacked if you just ignore Jared Leto.
Yep.
It's a really interesting director too, I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done terrible things and good things, which means that this is a 50-50 shot of being good or bad.
Has he done good things?
Yeah, that Kontiki movie is really good.
Okay. Well, he co-directed that one.
Yeah.
By himself, he's done Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Woman in the Sea, and this. And also did Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah. Which wasn't the worst one. I don't think, in my opinion, but
Okay.
how about that?
2 thumbs up from me. This one finally gave us some idea of what the actual movie's going to be about. And like the idea of having, I mean, it's a dumb idea of like militaries wanting to have the people of Tron come up and be in the real world so they could use it for military purposes. But visually, it looks fucking cool. All the light bikes and then the light, I don't know, planes or whatever they're using in the sky, flying all around the place. That looks freaking awesome. And just kind of seeing the Tron world brought into real world life is like very cool, and like would make all the people who saw the original movie in the 80s like very, very happy. It's also interesting that it's called Tron when Tron is not in this movie, and Tron is like kind of this forgotten character, I guess, technically.
I think people don't even realize it's a character name. They're just like, it's
Tron.
IP name. I don't know, like,
Yeah,
Tron World.
It's the worlds. Yeah,
yeah,
it's Tron. Yeah. Yes, and the soundtrack sounds really good. Again, traditional Alex Ross.
But it's interesting they're saying they're actually marketing it as 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, that's true. They are marketing it as 9 Inch Nails.
Which it must be a choice from them that they're like, this is NIN, not.
Maybe he got all his band members in. Old band members in.
Either way, can't wait. I think they're putting up one of the songs already on.
Oh, maybe it's so they don't get them confused when they're both nominated for the Academy Awards this year and they don't get snubbed, like they were last year for challenges.
Like they were last year, yeah.
So yeah. All right, let's move to this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And in honor of Adam Sandler's latest film, Happy Gilmore 2, coming to Netflix on Friday, I want to say. This week's top 3 is top 3 Adam Sandler comedies. Did I do that on purpose so it just wouldn't be Uncut Gems at the top? Yes. Yes, I did.
You wouldn't have picked Uncut Gems, so.
It would have been in the top 3.
Would it?
I think so.
I want to point something out.
Top 3 Adam Sandler performances. Yes.
I didn't double check when Happy Gilmore 2 was releasing. I thought it was coming out last month, and I watched I watched Happy Gilmore last month because I thought the movie was coming out like a week or two. It turns out I was like a whole month ahead. So.
Yeah. Dylan, what's number 3?
My number 3 is Billy Madison.
My number 3 is Billy Madison.
Yeah. I feel like our list should be similar. They're all just going to be the all Adam Sandler's interesting because all of his most beloved comedies and the ones that are on my list reviewed like absolute shit when they come out. But if you were of a certain age and you watched them growing up, I feel like
Yes.
you have no complaints really about them.
No,
And
these are the films that raised us.
Yeah, and to a lot of like maybe to detriment, somewhat. But I mean, Adam Sandler has a period where he was. I was just watching like movies like Billy Madison. I would go to friends' places. I remember, in, like high school, go stay at a friend's place. We just put on the fucking Billy Madison or some shit. Like it was that was what we were watching. So highly quotable. Oh, Mr. Swan. Like it's just it's one of the first. So yeah.
Yeah, so much fun. Such an interesting concept. So, like him going back to school and like reconnecting with, making friends with all his kids, and like the romance elements, and he's beating the bad guy, and then fucking Steve Buscemi comes out and then kills somebody. That was the dumbest answer I've ever heard, and we're all dumber for having heard you say it. Yeah. Chris Farley's fantastic in the film. His bus driver. Such a good time. So, Billy Madison, number 3. Dylan, what's number 2?
My number 2 is Happy Gilmore. Which maybe, I just rewatched it. I still think it's very funny. Again, I will say a lot of humor in these movies just it's not fun. There's some off kilter humor in all of these movies, but nonetheless, here we are. But I mean, Happy Gilmore, it's a movie about a dude who wants to be a hockey player, but he's shit at hockey, so he becomes a golf player. What's not to love? Carl Weathers plays the guy who got his hand bitten off by a gator. Chris McDonald plays Shooter McGavin, who's one of the most, he's the golfer. Francis Bay plays his lovable grandma. We all wish she was our grandma. Bob Barker plays Bob Barker, who beats the shit out of him. It's great. We all love it. It's very funny. Has a lot of great scenes. Again, very quotable. I just rewatched it. It's very watchable. Just very, very. You just put on and yeah.
Cool. I have to rewatch this week, I think. My number 2 is The Wedding Singer. Romantic comedy, up my alley. Also musical at the same time. Good times. Adam Sandler's delightful. Drew Barrymore's great. All the little songs. Somebody Kill Me is fantastic, and then the delightful, end song with Billy Idol singing on the airplane. Where the bad guy, the douchey boyfriend, finally gets what's his. And they all end up all happy. Delightful. Wedding Singer, number 2. Dylan, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is The Waterboy. Because that was probably the one I watched the most. And it would always be on TV too. It was probably one of the ones that was on TV the most. But I think between I don't know, there's just something very lovable about his stupid character, Bobby Boucher, and then Kathy Bates is obviously the mom. You ain't not playing foosball, are you, boy? Playing that thing. Fraser Block, what's her name? Fraser Block? Something like that. Vicky, I love you, Vicky Valancourt. Like there's all these. Yeah. There's just so many like very likable, silly, weird characters in this. Rob Schneider obviously shows up with the you can do it, we get that.
Oh no, we suck again.
Oh no, we suck again. Like this, it's just so it's probably the most quotable of the Adam Sandler movies for me that I have nearly integrated into my repertoire and probably say also Henry Winkler is obviously the coach and very likable, lovable in this as well. So, yeah.
My number one is 50 First Dates, also starring Drew Barrymore. But the idea of this dude, this person who has very short term memory and forgets every single day, and this guy trying to woo her despite her forgetting him every single day. Very interesting concept, and I think they do it's very wholesome, fun, enjoyable way of doing it. Great casts, great location, Hawaii, and that kind of stuff, and they tell it as truthfully as possible in one of the most romantic, films of Adam Sandler's repertoire. So, yeah, I've got a very soft spot for that, but still also got a little soft spot for was it Big Daddy or The Longest. I really enjoyed The Longest Yard. Lots of. I even like Little Nicky. I have I don't think it was that bad. But yeah, I'm keen to check out Happy Gilmore 2 this week. Dylan, what do you want to watch this week?
It's Fantastic Four, isn't it?
Yeah.
there's no real other pick. It will be interesting to see how, we're coming, 2 weeks now? It'll be 2 weeks since Superman released, obviously. So, fuck, it's still close, and I nearly feel like as different as those movies are, it is still they're the same sort of thing, which is that Superman was the first DCU movie, needed to be a success, and Fantastic Four is basically kicking off the next. It is kicking off the next phase. And a very important phase, and also needs to be a success. So they're very similar, but in different ways. So. TV show, I got nothing. And I'm not picking another movie because you can't break the rules. I don't give a fuck what you say.
No, I'm going to say Fantastic Four. But also, we already said we want to see Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, not much on the TV front. I will point out, technically, on the 29th of July, before the next episode goes live, WWE Unreal is releasing on Netflix, which is the behind the scenes.
Yeah, they're breaking.
Look at that, that'll be interesting to watch. I do have one question I want to ask you though. Is Bambi: The Reckoning playing in your cinemas this week?
It's not.
Sorry. You'll have to get your Dear Bloodlust in a few months' time when it drops on streaming service on Apple or Google.
I'm quite disappointed. I would love to watch Bambi.
Get Bambi murdering people, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let us know what you want to watch this week by letting us know on Blue Sky at explosionnetwork.com or find us on other social media at ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess. Also, what's New Zealand today?
It got it got added to. Also, talking too much, my voice is dying again. It got added to Netflix, and I was like, "What is this?" I recognize the comedian. What's his fucking name? Guy Williams, right? I've seen him on other shows, Australian and New Zealand and whatever, just panel shows and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I like him. He's funny. I'll watch this. Apparently it came out, the first season was several years ago. But it's quite funny. So it's literally just him. It's a every episode will be him sort of focused on one theme, but Mike on the street sort of his whole thing is he's doing hardcore journalism. He's not doing hardcore journalism at all. But it's also very funny. There's an episode where he goes to interview this politician in one of the areas of New Zealand, whatever. There's some right wing, fucking dude who's voting in who says that he can't be racist because his last name's Chong. and all this sort of stuff. And he like does a whole episode where he's like, I'm gonna like attempt to change this man and like get change his PR and like all this like whatever. There's another one where he goes and like interviews all these people who are like believe that 5G is gonna like interviews all these conspiracy theorists and stuff. But no, it's very funny. It's only like 23 minutes per episode or whatever. So I don't know what channel it must have aired on. Like obviously New Zealand channel, one of their main ones. But I don't know why the first 2 seasons randomly popped up on Netflix. But no complaints because it is quite funny. There's a dude in one of the episodes. One of the episodes, he's like interviewing some people on the street about this strip club that just had apparently he's like hard journalism. He's like, apparently this strip club used to have a fish tank in it, and it's been removed. So I'm gonna like get to the bottom of this. And he's interviewing these people or whatever, and he interviews these 2 kids, barely over 18. He starts making fun of them, obviously being like, I think you 2 are just like faking your IDs and you've never been anywhere and all this sort of stuff. And then one of them kids pulls out his phone and he's like, guy, I've been messaging you for like 3 years trying to get you to come to parties with me. And he like goes back through the messages and he's actually been messaging Guy Williams on his Instagram account. And he reads out messages like, Guy, can you come to my 18th birthday? Guy, can you do all this sort of shit? And then his mum sends a picture to him. They've like blurred out her face where she's like, Guy, would you like to get with an older woman like me? And then the kid's like, do you want to be my stepdad?